Mark Andrews, tight end one of the 2021 fantasy season. With this being said, he should automatically be the tight end one of the 2022 fantasy season, right? Well, in reality, no. That's wrong. Not exactly, though. In about a third of my fantasy drafts, I've been seeing Mark Andrews go as the first tight end off the board. And in reality, that just should not be happening. Mark Andrews, in actuality, should actually be the second tight end off the board. And it hurts me to say that because I love this guy so much. It sucks, but Mark Andrews has to fight for this spot against Travis Kelce, which, in my opinion, he just does not win this fight, unfortunately. During the offseason, Kelce's situation has gotten exponentially better with the loss of Tyreek Hill. And for Mark Andrews, his situation has gotten worse. They'll be getting J.K. Dobbins back, and the Ravens will be the Ravens, and they'll just constantly run the ball. Not only that, I feel that Rashad Bateman will take a huge step forward this season, taking away from Mark Andrews' targets. Now, if you look at Travis Kelce's stats with Tyreek Hill there still in 2021, he still had a really good stat line. Kelce ended the season with 92 receptions, 1,125 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Mark Andrews ended the season with 107 receptions, 1,361 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Now, if you compare the stats, the touchdowns are the exact same amount, and there's only a 15 reception gap. Once again, this is still with Travis Kelce with Tyreek Hill, and Mark Andrews being the receiver one for his team. Now, if we're looking at their situations statistically, Mark Andrews has a much worse situation than Travis Kelce does, I believe. Now, I want to talk about injury history since this is a big part of fantasy football. During Travis Kelce's 9-year span in the NFL, he has only missed 2 whole games, 1 to a knee injury and 1 to COVID. That is, in my eyes, a basically clean slate. If you've been playing it in the NFL for 9 years and you've only missed 2 whole games, that is a big deal. A very big deal. And one of which Kelce couldn't even control considering the NFL has certain restrictions with COVID-19. Now, what terrifies me about Mark Andrews and what many people do not know is that he has type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes makes it very difficult to get back from an injury, and if Mark Andrews gets injured, a 1-week injury for someone could be 4 weeks for him. Now, what may have stood out for you from the background clips that are playing as I talk is that Mark Andrews possesses a large amount of physicality. With physicality comes major risks of injury, and if Mark Andrews isn't careful, he could get knocked out for a good amount of time due to the type 1 diabetes that he has. Now, don't get me wrong, the amount of physicality that Mark Andrews has is electrifying. This is why people love Mark Andrews. He can be so physical that it's like, wow, I like this guy. He shows us what football really is. However, sometimes you have to set these perspectives aside when it comes to fantasy football because, again, injuries are a big deal. I mean, 4 weeks, if your player's out for 4 weeks, that is a big chunk of your 15-week season in fantasy. Now, the point of this video isn't to say to not draft Mark Andrews because I draft him like crazy. I love this guy. The point of this video is to enlighten you to know that Mark Andrews has a big risk factor compared to Travis Kelce. Now, if you're in a situation where you can draft Travis Kelce, do not miss out on this opportunity because you will not regret it. However, with that being said, the same applies to Mark Andrews. Don't miss out on the opportunity. Just do not take him over Travis Kelce like I'm seeing people do. I like both these guys a lot. Just do not get your first tight end pick wrong.